Yeah, thank you for coming, and let me introduce our company. So we are from Brightpick company. We started in 2013 as a, let's say, classical startup company, so 4 guys in garage. And basically we built the Photoneo brand, which is our mother company. And we are building 3D scanners and doing a lot of, let's say, classical robotic automation for general production and automotive business. So from that time, we learned a lot about the automation, and last year we realized that there is a huge potential for order fulfillment. So we designed and start the Brightpick brand, and basically we are, let's say, utilizing all our huge technical stack. And you will see what we are doing also later. So right now we are more than 230 people. We have a talent center and R&D plus production in Slovakia and Bratislava, and our headquarters right now it's in the US, and basically we are doing sales and integrations of Brightpick solution only in Europe and North America. So basically, let's also introduce ourselves. So my name is Brano. I'm one of the 4 co-founders and Chief Revenue Officer at the Brightpick and also Photoneo Group. And together with me is Martin, and Martin is our product director for Brightpick.
Hello. Good, it's working.
Good, perfect. So why automation now? So basically, we know that that pandemic, somehow explode and also kick off the e-commerce business. And basically, according to Forbes, there is a 55% jump in orders, and of course it's very good for business. It was perfect, but it was somehow, let's say, very much demanding and put enormous pressure on warehousing and the order fulfillments. So this is one, let's say, very strong factor, which was pandemic. But of course, as probably a lot of you also feel right now, there is a little bit, let's say, the growth is not strong. But from the predictions, it looks like there will be still constant growth. And right now, the e-commerce business in the world represents something like 14% of all consumption. And basically, the predictions are to go to approximately 25% in 2025. So even if this growth will be not 25%, even if it will be only 21, it's still like doubled the e-commerce business in upcoming years. So basically, we need to be ready. You need to be ready for that. And of course, the second, let's say, very strong argument right now, and you probably feel it, who are doing directly the fulfillment, it's a labor shortage and the cost of the labor. So basically, the high inflation rates and all these things which are coming, it's really like pushing these costs up. And of course, we have some customers who even like last year were not able to find enough people for their season to make the fulfillment. So that's the second, let's say, strong point for automation. And the third, of course, is that if you are running the warehouse and you have pure manual fulfillment, it cause a lot of, let's say, problems. And the majority of companies in the survey, like 62%, identify manual process and human errors as one of the root cause of, let's say, inventory fulfillment issues. So this is something that why we are here, because we would like to show you that how the mobile robotic platforms can help in e-commerce needs, and how they can help you in let's say tackling all these major issues. So basically, we would like to present you one of our customer use cases. The company is called Jedoles. They are doing the sales mainly of socks and underwear, and they have a huge warehouse in Slovakia. And basically, they have the same, let's say, challenges as I was mentioning before, and Martin can comment on that.
Yeah, so basically the company had a tremendous growth in last year. So it was 4x every year, and they got into the position where they needed to change the warehouse and install automation just to make it to another season, because they were again expecting forex growth. So it was, let's say, there needed to be very fast change. On the other hand, they didn't have so much money to invest. That was an issue, that they didn't want to invest because they need the money for the marketing, because they are, let's say, relying on the marketing to sell in the next season. So the solution was to install something very flexible that they can grow again in the next season. They can double the growth in the next season. So that's the mobile robotics you will see on the video. They didn't need a big throughput. We are talking about 100,000 of peaks every day in a peak season. They needed it in a new facility, so a greenfield facility with all the new systems, WMS connections, new processes. So that was a challenge. They did it in 5 months. So those of you who have already installed some automation knows that 5 months is maybe sometimes enough to create a project and nothing else. So this was like create a project, fine-tune the product, fine-tune the processes, install it, and you are in October, November in your peak season. That was the challenge. And yeah, still save some money. So we will get to the business aspect of it later. That's Capex versus robot as a service. And this was indeed a final solution. So it's mobile robotic platforms that you can also see later on in the demo stand. And it's basically mainly picking in a very short distances. That's our solutions always. So these pickers, they just travel very, very short distances. They put the items into special tables. It's all designed by us. And then the mobile robotics is consolidating between these various segments, or how we can call them segments. And by this way, they do not have conveyors in the picking zone. So it's very clean, very silent, very efficient. Because the mobile robots, they visit only the stations where they need to pick something, and basically in those toads you see there are 8 orders on each robot, and at the end the packer will receive finalized order ready to be packed.
Yeah, basically, as you can see here, there were a lot of robots, like approximately 50 robots running each day in a peak season. As Martin mentioned, we are speaking about hundreds, thousands of picks each day. So our robots are fully collaborative, as you can see, and basically we really help them to fulfill the season, because the project was so big and the number of orders were so high that they were not able to let's say do it other different way. But this was only one example that how automation can help to tackle all the challenges which are right now on the table. And we will be speaking about some more after the poll. So basically, I would kindly ask you to take your mobile phones and basically go to the slido.com/deliver2022, and there is a first question already, that what is the level of your fulfillment automation? We have only 3 questions, so please vote, and it will help us to better understand our audience today, because we'll be speaking about some 6 gotchas to consider before you are going to implement the automation.
Or after you have implemented, to change it for a better automation, right?
Yeah. Okay, so we will wait a little bit more. There are some results already.
Okay, so it's a close fight between second, third, and fourth position.
Yeah, we have nearly 20 people voting.
That's perfect, thank you.
So, yeah. So, thank you very much. So the result of this is that 40% of you are doing 100% manual picking. Nearly 20% is manual plus some kind of conveyor belt, and another 20% is some kind of goods to person system. So this is the result. So that's very good. So we have a right audience for this meeting. So okay, I'll start with the second question, which is: do you plan to install or expand automation? So you have 4 answers only.
phrasing. Yeah, so based on the idea that there were like 40% of warehouse guests that didn't have any automation, so we see that, yeah, there are some plans.
Okay, we are probably there. So thank you. 25 people voted. So we have a 56% of people are telling that next year and looking for the right solution right now. 16%, another 16% is like in 2 years, and the rest is that no plans right now. So perfect. Thank you. And the last question: what do you consider to be the main challenge to deploying automated fulfillment? And this is tricky one. So I'm really looking forward to your answers.
Now you have to be honest if it's your boss or you.
Yeah, that's interesting. There is no clear winner
Okay,
on this.
a lot of issues, yeah, we'll go through them. Some of them we can solve.
Good. So probably are done. The same number of people voted. So the majority is like initial investment. Yeah, we will tackle that point. Perfect. 32% is a compatibility with the current warehouse processes. That's also usually the big issue. And the third place is a system integration. Okay, perfect. So thank you very much for voting. And we will be tackling this in our 6 gotchas to consider. So basically, when you are going to, or when you are thinking about the automation, what are the important points from our point of view? So first is a time to value. Second, scalability. Then we have efficiency, flexibility, and adaptability. We will be speaking about human versus robotic picking, and then we will also go through the robot as a service business model versus classical investment model.
Actually tackling the most feared thing, the investment.
We will be speaking about that. So time to money.
Yeah, so thank you. So this is one of the big considerations that I was speaking, that we had a client and he had only 5 months. And this is challenging on one side, that yes, you have to be super fast to implement everything, to implement the processes. You mentioned that you are a little bit afraid, which is obvious, that you need to implement somehow connection to WMS and make it all work together. And this could take time. And this is one of the biggest challenges right now, that there is the software problems, and then there are the hardware problems with the current issues on the market, that there is not enough steel, not enough carbon, and all the projects are delayed. And you can get, after the contract signing, you can get to 1 year to 2 years to project start, and then half a year ramp-up period, and you end up with a solution where you need 3 years basically to get to the desired throughput. And these 3 years you could have already automated something, you could have been saving the money. So this is, I think, one of the issues to consider, that yes, I am signing the contract now, but what will I do in the meantime, in those 2 years? Could have I saved more money in the meantime, or I'm calculating my return on investment only from the period of installations, which is 2 years far away.
Yeah, and when you are thinking about the automation, like in the future, and you are thinking that you will, choose somebody, or you will go through some RFQ process or RFI process, it's very important to start to work on the data sets right now, because this is very huge. That if you have a very good data set ready for your supplier, like you prepare some statistics of your business and all these things, you will save a lot of time during these requests for quotation or information process. And this is something that we usually experience when we are coming to the companies and we are starting to discuss, okay, what you are doing, and they're telling that, okay, we have this and that, and then it's like 1 month while we get the data. So then we clean the data, or customer clean the data, and we are discussing about it. So basically what you can do even right now, even when you are, let's say, only thinking that you are going to do automation in the future, is that please try to prepare the data, and you will save a lot of time during the selection process. Basically, what is also the big topic right now, it's piloting the technology versus installing the real system, because there is a very nice article, and you can read it in DC, that companies right now, they are skipping this piloting process because it's very, let's say, demanding on internal capacity. So sometimes it's nearly on the same level as when you are going to implement the whole solution. So we are also experiencing this with some customers, that they are telling us, okay, we would like to pilot it, and then we need to do the proper WMS integration, we need to understand the client processes and all these things. So yes, pilot it's fine, but you can lose from half to 1 year time when you are doing the pilot. So basically the trend right now is to spend a little bit more on selection process, to spend a little bit more on, let's say, discussion with some other companies which are using the technology, and select the right one, and don't do piloting, because it really can take a lot of internal capacities only for pilots, and then you need to, of course, then scale it, which is the second issue. So there is a huge trend, and because of the demand from the market, that companies are somehow skipping this point.
Yeah, and when we talk about piloting, this is also, let's say, issue of the scalability. So you have let's say two issues on hand. So firstly, you want to build a solution that is fast enough to cover your current throughput and your throughput for, let's say, at least 1 or 2 years in the future. On the other hand, you don't want to build it too big, because if the situation will be, let's say, bad for you, for your e-commerce, you will be, let's say, paying something that you are not using in the end. This will get us later on to the business model. So you have to somehow balance, and you have to be able to scale properly, and without any hate. So these solutions, they are good for some use cases, but again, if you install conveyors in your facility, they are quite difficult to scale. So the conveyor has some final throughput that can cover with some number of toads you can push there, and that's it. So it's very difficult to scale compared to the mobile robotics. Then also, if you build, let's say, very heavy infrastructure, again, it's a little bit difficult to scale. You have to add another, aisle, another mini load. You have to add a lot of iron. Maybe there is not enough space left. So this tends to be difficult. So that's from the standpoint of technology.
Yeah.
And then maybe one more point. And then there is the market. So you have to be prepared for the let's say, huge peak seasons. So again, like we saw in COVID, you want to grab the market, but you don't have the throughput necessary. So how do you cope? So you hire more people, but at some point it starts to be difficult that you cannot feed them into the system. So you have to have a solution that is able to grow very fast when you need it. And on the other hand, when the markets are more steady, or you are experiencing some issues, you want to have a technology that you can maybe reduce, or you can pay less maybe in that period. And that, with a, let's say, huge investment into hardware infrastructure, that tends to be difficult. So my advice would be to look for something that's flexible, scalable.
Yeah, and basically that's also our experience, that some customers are trying to, let's say, predict their future, let's say, sales, and they would like to buy the system which is, let's say, 2 times more, let's say, so also it's designed for, let's say, 2 times higher throughput. And then it starts to be difficult because, okay, there are they need to approve it with the owners or board meetings and these kind of things. Then they start to discuss about the growth and, like this kind of thing. So this is really something where you really need to consider that, okay, what are our peaks? What are our daily peaks? What are our season peaks? And what will be our growth strategy? Because sometimes it's easier for you to do some kind of automation and then to extend it than, to have run the big project that will help you to survive next 10 years. And anyhow, nobody knows what will happen in 2 years.
If you can predict future in 10 years, go on the markets, and invest money there. So that's safer way probably, if you can predict so much in the future what will happen. Yes. So the efficiency, and here I will have another slide. So you have to look at the automation. There are countless possibilities right now, from the conveyors, which surely have still a place in some facilities, and sometimes where you have some demanding applications and a lot of things rolling on the conveyor. to, let's say, some more modern and current applications that have, let's say, higher efficiency. So we have tried to map, let's say, the evolution of the automation, what we have there. So like from the left side, conveyor sortation, it's some of the technology that is older, is more mature. You can be sure that, yeah, it worked for past 20 years, so it will work for another 20 years like that. So the conveyor sortation, mini loads, so that's having one system in one aisle, quite heavy infrastructure, can go high. That's nice, but when there is some issue with that particular mini load in that row, then you are basically screwed. You cannot pick anything from that high rack in that row. And shuttle systems, yeah, they tend to be fast when you need big throughputs. Shuttles could be a good decision. They tend to be a little bit more expensive due to the infrastructure and maybe due to the lower efficiency, because you need a lot of robots in each row. So you have to be careful choosing the right items for the automation. Then goods to person, there it starts to be a little bit more flexible. That's for sure good. But if the person is picking from that goods to person system, you cannot go too high. So Kiva-like system, there are still some limitations. We will see that. Then swarming robots, yeah, again, a good solution for some. They are fast to implement. That's for sure good. But the picks rate are not so high compared maybe to other things on the left and on the right side. So they are giving you some boost in your performance, but it could be less than the other systems. And then we are getting maybe to the future, or to the, let's say, current solution and to the future. So that's goods to robots. So we are bringing the totes to the robotic picking station. This gives you more advantages. So firstly, you are not, let's say, somehow limited by person being there. You are not prone to errors so much. And you can easily add new picking stations and basically save, let's say, FTEs even more. And let's say for 2023, the trend is going to be autonomous mobile picking. So that means that you will be carrying the picker and basically really emulating what people were doing. So they will get to the pick location and they will pick the item there. And this is the trend for 2023, and we will be more than happy to update you later on what we have prepared there. So this will be, from my perspective, the most efficient way, because the tote doesn't travel anywhere. So it stays in the storage location. The picks happens there.
Yeah, this is important, that so you will see it in the future. So we are investing a lot of money to R&D right now, and that's why we are also taking the investment rounds, because we are investing a huge amount to this development. So you will see very nice things coming out next year. So you can also follow us on LinkedIn, and you will see.
John, you want to add something in the meantime or not?
No,
okay. Checking if they are not leaving. Good job.
I've got one question.
Yeah.
That struck me from the survey, right? Because I took a screenshot, because it didn't appear on there. When you've got a fully mechanized operation, how do you replenish? Do the robots replenish the stock as well as pick the stock?
Exactly, that's how it happens. So basically we have a decanting stations where you decant the items into the totes, and from that point it's, let's say, fully automatic. The solution is, let's say, fully automatic. It takes the tote, puts it into the system in an optimal location based on the AI algorithms and based on the future and past demand for the given SKU, and that's fully covered by our system, basically.
Okay. Has anybody got any questions on anything they've heard so far, guys?
There will be a lot more to come, so shoot.
Okay. Yeah, we have one here at the front, Angeline.
Just let me understand, what is swarming robots?
I can probably say that locus and these types of robots.
Okay,
They are basically not bringing you the tote. They are just navigating the person that I need your help here.
Okay, following the picker.
Yeah, basically. So.
Okay.
And basically we are here speaking about efficiency, and what is important for you when you will be selecting the solution. Like, of course, price is important, because you will get the price for the solution, but always ask the the provider that how many robots are you going to provide? Because even if the price is low and the number of robots is high, you will pay it later in maintenance. You don't know right now, but later you will pay it in maintenance. You will pay it in batteries, and you will pay it in other different things. So initial costs are important, of course, but when you are considering the solution for the future, always try to also compare the solutions, how many robots are bringing or providing you that your requested throughput. That's also quite important, because some solution can be very much, let's say, efficient with the smaller number of robots, and some of them can match the throughput and also maybe can match the price or be even lower with the price. But later, when you will need to replace something on, I don't know, 2 times many robots, you will pay it.
Good. So be flexible and adaptable. That's the only change. And I have, let's say, one video. I hope it will play on click. Or no, it won't play.
You will explain. And probably, it's like classical Amazon shelves.
Kiva-like.
Kiva-like, yeah.
So basically, what is important here to understand that Amazon is the biggest manufacturer on the robots in the world. Probably they have hundreds of thousands in their facilities. Yeah. So that's very interesting that Amazon is not the biggest e-commerce player only, but the biggest let's say robotic player. And they have chosen their solution 10 to 12 years ago. They basically bought Kiva in 2012, 13 it was. And at that point, it seemed like that's the best there is, and maybe it was at that time. But right now, they are getting into the, let's say, very specific issue that they cannot anyhow replace the pickers at the stations, because the system is bringing these special racks, and there is even a tape for the things to not fall off. And they were trying to solve this with the Amazon Picking Challenge for a few years, but nobody was able to do that, and nobody will be. Because the issue is that even these human pickers, if the video would be playing, that they need to, let's say, put down this tape and then try to, pull it out somehow. And that's, let's say, fundamental issue, that if you invest in a technology and you are expecting that it will be the best technology for the next 15 years, it won't happen. Like, we are moving too fast, and there will be another better technology in maybe in 5 years, in 7 years, and in 15 years for sure. So this is, let's say, the limitation, that you have to be adaptable, and also the technology needs to be adaptable to basically change at some point. And I'm very curious how Amazon will solve this issue, because yes, we know they are looking for technology. They need to do something with it, because this robotic picking, like Branio mentioned, the efficiency is the key, and this is not the most efficient way right now how to pick the items.
Yeah, and right now we are coming to the point of robotic versus human picking. So probably you see a lot of, even past years bring a lot of companies doing this picking, and people were afraid, even in automotive business. So our experience from hundreds of installation of bin picking in different productions and automotive is that this problem is solved. It's not an issue anymore, and we are bringing it also to the logistic and e-commerce business. So basically, of course, there still will be some items which are not robot pickable. So that's for sure. But majority of items can be robotic pickable. And from the help of basically very much growing AI and very much fast development of AI algorithms, right now we are able to pick a huge amount when we are taking, for example, the grocery items. It's a huge percentage where we are able to pick. So this is something.
70% of ambient items in grocery we are basically able to pick with our current customers. So that's quite a nice number.
So this is something which you also can consider if our items are robot pickable, if they are not robot pickable, because then you can also save a lot of costs on that. If they are not robotic pickable, we are able, or the mobile robot providers can also able to design, of course, the human pick stations, where the people can still pick the items, and it can work together. So you can have the robotic picking station, or 2 robotic picking station and 1 human picking station, or vice versa, and then we can also consolidate the order in the end of the process.
Yeah, so good items to consider basically for, let's say, human picking are those that are, let's say, not well packed. Can I play it once again maybe? So here we used the example of, let's say, bananas that, for robots, you need to have some surface where you can apply the section cub, and in bananas there is no way how you will pick it by robot using vacuum. You can use a different gripper, but then it starts to get too complicated. Multiple grippers for multiple items, you don't want to have that. So you are going at the suction.
Yeah.
And also some, let's say, very heavy, very, let's say, items that are, surface is very varying, let's say.
What is very nice on this, let's say, in general, in a mobile robotics platform is that you can also then connect the sections which are, let's say, different. Like grocers, they have the bakery, they have frozen, they have the ambient, and basically you are able to collect the order and bring it to one place. So this should be also possible for other types of item.
Good. And now the robotic picking, we will see which video we'll actually play, at least one.
You can free.
Maybe. Yeah, okay.
That's just example of different picking.
No, that was too much. Sorry.
Too much. It should start automatically.
Do you want to play that again?
Maybe.
I can do some more clicking, but I'm not sure if it will
Yeah,
help.
let's try to. Okay, that's just an example that the robotic picking is not, let's say, in some kind of, let's say, development stage. We are really using it. We have a lot of customers where we are picking, every day. We have automotive customers where we are picking 24/7. So we just would like to show you that this is not the issue anymore. And if you find the right partner, they can help you also with this robotic picking. So let me also invite you. We have a robotic demo in the machine area, so you can have a look. We have also the runner and picker there. So. There is a live view on that.
Yep.
Maybe we should speed up a little bit.
Yeah.
Good, Branislav, this is...
Yeah, good, perfect. So these slides are, let's say, or would like to explain a little bit more about the business models. So we are experiencing right now the two business models. So is a robotic or robot as a service model, Raas, and Capex model. So you can go to the next slide. So you probably all know the Capex model. So it's usually the investment plus some yearly fee, and basically you are the owner of the technology. Basically there are some advantages because you can depreciate it and you can have it in your asset. Of course, then you are responsible for all the maintenance. You need to have some people or a good SLA with the vendor, and basically it's some kind of like after the warranty period, there is still some kind of uncertainty that okay, we should have a reliable partner. How much they would like to pay in the future for SLAs, how much will cost the maintenance, of course, because nobody will tell you right now that the battery will be 50% less in a couple of years, and you will need to buy them for the robot. So you need to be careful when you are considering this, and especially you need to calculate in your return on investment with all these maintenance costs, even upfront, and you need to ask the provider that okay, how much I need to pay in year 5, 6, 7, 8 for this technology, and what everything can we will need to change, like wheels, batteries, gearboxes, and these kind of things.
Can I just jump in on, if you go the Capex route, so typically how long do you amortize? Do you depreciate those assets?
It depends on customer. Our experience that they are doing it from 5 to 10 years.
5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
And you mentioned earlier with your Amazon example with the tape and the problem, you kind of indicated that the technology is moving so fast that your robots will be out of date very soon. So, so if I was one of these guys, I'd be thinking, well, at what point do I make the leap and invest in technology which you've just told me is going to be out of date very soon? Do you see what I'm saying? It's a bit of a
that's
paradox.
Yeah, that's why people invented this Raas model, which exactly tackled this point that with the robot as a service model, you are paying per robot as a rental fee or per pick. So there are two types usually, and basically what's nice on this model is that when you choose the Raas, we as a provider taking care of everything. So you are just paying monthly fee per robot, and you don't care about what will happen with the robot. So if you sign the contract for 5 years, for 6 years, all the maintenance, it's our problem. All the let's say some warranty issues, everything is included. So basically you don't need to care about this, and basically you have all the updates included. So
and John, back to your question, yeah, in 5 years the contract is over, or in 6 years, and then you can again make a decision. So do I want to continue with the technology, or is there something new from the same provider or different provider that would fit? And because you don't have heavy infrastructure, you can change actually the technology.
So in this Raas model, right? Is there any initial setup cost or?
no, nothing. Everything is included.
But the guys have got to commit to a 5-year, 6-year.
It depends on the size of the installation. We can go from free.
Right. And if their operation, if they scale, if they double the size of their business, does it pro rata just scale up?
This is very nice on the solution, that we can design your solution that, for example, in the peak season, you will need, I don't know, 1.5 number of robots. So we can agree that yes, we are able to bring you more robots for season and then take them back.
Okay.
So you don't need to buy them for all the year.
So you can switch the tap
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, exactly,
switch it up.
exactly. So because it's so, let's say, flexible, and the solution, it's even from the business point of view and technical point of view, it's so flexible that, for example, this can help you save some money as a fulfillment provider.
How many of your clients are on the Raas model?
Right now, it's half of our clients.
So it's 50-50. 50
Yeah.
do the Capex?
Yes.
Okay. In the last 2 years, has that ratio changed or?
We see right now some inclining to the robot as a service model,
Okay.
because of there are many reasons to do that, and mainly that customers don't want to, let's say, handle all the technical stuff. They would like to focus on business.
Sure. Okay. Has anybody got any questions on those two fundamental models? Because I know on the Slido, if I just get my picture up, yeah, roughly half of you made the point that it's the investment and how you justify the investment as the issue. So, just a quick show of hands. If you were to push the button and go with this, how many would go with the Raas model? If you like the subscription model. How many would go with the Capex route? Okay. Can I ask you two, why would you go with the Capex route? Okay, have the microphone here.
So Amy from Boohoo. I guess it's just for us a traditional way of getting things signed off. I've never actually used the
Subscription
Raas
model.
subscription. Is that quite unique to you guys, or is that something? I mean, I've never actually had that offered from a supplier or anything.
It's very
I'm
risky
working on.
because the supplier takes
It's very risky.
very big responsibility, but it's let's say it's out there. You can
Yeah.
get some deals like that.
And I'm
but
assuming that
it's-
depends on what the cost is. I mean, if you're
Yep.
implementing a 16, 17 million pound automation, I'm assuming it's more the smaller.
It depends. We have customers where we invested millions,
Okay.
like our company, and they are paying as a Raas, and it really depends on. As you're right, it's very risky, but on our side.
Yeah, that's it's just tradition, really. I mean, it's not that I would be adverse to using that model, but it's not something Boohoo would have ever looked at, really.
Interesting. Yeah, can we have it over here?
So for my understanding,
Sorry, can you just say who you are and your company?
Yeah, Morenet, Poland, Krakow. So Krakow is famous for producing copper wire. You put the coin, and there are two Krakowienzik on site, so you have a copper wire. Yeah. So maybe we are not very rich, but this is a question for me of risk management. If I'm certain about solution, I'm not afraid to cover the cost of the risk. I take it on my side. If there is a more risk on this business, so the business might not grow, I'm not sure about the solution, if this will function. I see very sophisticated robot, and I know that will be a problem. Yeah, I just, if I open AutoStore, I see how it works, and I know what is in. Yeah, it's simple, it's primitive, great. So if it is something sophisticated, I try to push this risk away. And then Raas model makes sense. So the question is how technically you are inside the company and how you can spread this risk. So this is a risk management and risk cost.
Yeah, exactly. That was perfect. Let's say example of how our usual customers looks like that. Basically, they would like to focus on their business. They would like to focus on e-commerce. They don't have the big, let's say, warehouse management people who are experienced in robotics. But they would like to have something which is, let's say, provide them throughput and provide them technology different from others. Because there are also some let's say, people would like to have something different, because if you have the same technology as your competitor, exactly the same technology for exactly the same price, then you can compete on, I don't know, marketing, on other business things. But if you have also the technical advantage and also the strong partner on the technical side, maybe in a couple of years you will be able to go faster. For example, this robot, we started to run at 1 meter per second. Right now we are on 2 meters per second speed of that robot. So basically we are constantly improving it, and these upgrades in this Raas model are for free. So basically customers are not paying for that. We will be adding some new features and all these things, so everything is included then into that model.
3 minutes. About 3 minutes, yeah.
I think we can, let's say, very quickly cover. So labor efficiency, that's a little bit tied to the picker. So how many people you need to operate the system? Just always do the count. Yeah, with these systems I need this number of people. With other system I did this number of people. I think it's already obvious, but do not forget to count. And yeah, you mentioned that the connection to WMS, connection to the processes is always difficult. So if you have, for example, already running installation, then you need to think about the technology that's maybe a little bit more flexible, being able to be installed while you still work, while still you are shipping. So something maybe to install in increments would be a good choice.
Yeah, we would like to also have some time for questions. So I will show you just one more video, and basically we are done. This is the use case of our installation in small Slovak e-grocery company. So they are delivering grocery, they're pure online player. So basically what we are doing is that we are doing automated, of course, replenishment, automated fulfillment. There is a robotic picker. This is on the 3rd floor on the mezzanine. So robots are quite lightweight, and this is how we help them with their e-business. So this is running nearly I think 1 year. So we are going to do another second floor of the mezzanine very soon. So this is a nice combination of all that technologies that then we basically pick all that order is putting into the buffer zone, and when the car is coming, we send the order via conveyor belt down. So basically that was all from our side, and yeah, if there are any questions.
Do we have any questions?
We have
We've got a couple of minutes. Any questions, burning questions about return on investment? Or I've got a question. You had an example, what was it, Dedoles? Yeah? That it was from them approaching you to operational install 5 months, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So if any of these guys were interested, how does that work? Do you have a sort of a standard approach? Do you have to go in and see the inventory?
Basically, the data is the key. So we need to see the data. We have custom developed software for simulation.
Okay.
So basically, we will put the data into simulation, and we can show guys how their warehouse would look like, but on the real, let's say, physical conditions. So we know how many robots will be inside and everything. So it's not like the, let's say, simulation without physical conditions. It's real. So we are able to do this quite fast.
Okay.
And then they can decide, okay, if it makes sense or not.
Okay. Perfect. Right. Thank you, Martin and Brano. Super.
Thank you all.
Well done.
Thank you, guys.